Hello there, my name is James, and this would be the first edition of the James Talks. Now, there have been plans on doing a video for this, but budget and time constraints would not allow for it. But I'm going to keep this brief as my first one, and let me just say that, I've been through a lot, and I know everybody's been through a lot. And although I'm not a completely healed person, in fact, I don't think there is, because healing is a constant state of being, really. I wanted to share my insights with you so that maybe it could help at least or help one person. This primarily applies to healing oneself and one's self-image. The biggest thing in healing is time. Time isn't something we can control, and all of our actions and reactions are really the only things we can control. During a time of healing, there should be more action than reaction. That is hardly ever the case. In a time of healing, do you want to go over everything that made you feel the way you do or the way you did? No, that'll only make things worse. Don't get me wrong. Think of the things that you may have done that were wrong, but take action to correct your behavior. Don't just acknowledge it, because that's only half of it. Changing your behavior is not an easy or quick task, but it is well worth the change. First of all, stop blaming yourself. I don't care if whatever the issue was your fault, if you caused it. Accept the responsibility, but again, take action so it doesn't happen again. And here's something. It's about drug addiction. And I noticed a lot of ears probably got a little bit wider when I talked about the D word, drug addiction. You might be wondering, well, Mr. Wiggs, what does that have to do with healing? The answer is quite a lot, actually. Take, for instance, a heavy drug addict that has decided that he wants to get clean. For those of you who have never been through or been near someone who has been through going through withdrawals, let me tell you, that first step, that mental decision, is a heroic decision. And of course, this is with any addiction. I shouldn't just say drugs. Especially if they know that they have tried in the past and failed, because they know the consequences of trying to change their behavior. They know what is ahead, yet they want a better, longer life. Sometimes and often it gets much worse for the person before it gets better. Right there is the magic. 3 words. It gets better. Remember that. Those are the magic 3 words. Because it does. And just as an addict is never cured but always in recovering, so it is with being healed emotionally. Let's do some steps to address the healing issues. Number 1, accept the hurt. When something happens, say a relationship ends, or say, I don't know, something happened that just somebody did to you, maybe intentionally, not intentionally, just really, really upset you. First of all, you have to accept and acknowledge that hurt. Now, step 2, don't dwell on the action that caused the hurt. It's over with. Just go ahead and deal with it. Number 3, if it wasn't your fault, realize that you're worth more than the hurt. If it was your fault, give yourself grace to move past it and not repeat it. We are the only creatures that are blessed with grace. And grace should be given freely, not just to others, but especially to ourselves. Number 4, if you backslide, you'll know it. And the guilt should be enough to go back to step 3. It is an ongoing process, and it may not go right through the steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 5, apologize. To the others of, your actions, if necessary. You have to kind of weigh that mentally. Would that make things worse? Would that make things better? That is something I cannot tell you what to do. That is always up to yourself. But apologize especially to yourself, for letting yourself do those actions, for letting yourself accept those actions, for letting yourself be in that position, for letting yourself maybe be too good of a friend or a person to tell somebody when they're doing something wrong. And you'll regret it later. Life is short. We don't know for certain when our journey will end, but it will. It's more rewarding mentally, spiritually, and really, especially mentally. It's that rewarding. While I have to keep this first talk brief, I do want more than anything to get across the fact that sometimes, even if we hurt others, we could have another victim, and that would be yourself. Every person deserves a certain amount, of dignity to be shown to them. While it's true that respect must be earned, there's no written law that says we can't allow them some to start with. Kind of like an investment. Some investments pay out, while others, of course, do not. It's easy to spot the difference and adjust your level of respect accordingly, again, with time. However, when we lose the ability to treat another being with dignity, we lose our own humanity. Being part of being human is showing dignity, humility, respect, and we have to remember that. Healing is hard. From internal or external sources, we can feel attacked and defenseless, but we are not. We are able to allow ourselves to introspectively look at our issues and our problems, and allow ourselves to accept, forget, and move on. And until science proves otherwise, currently science proves that we are the only ones on this planet that have that ability to look back at our decisions, accept, forgive, and move on. And one last thing. Healing, or the process of healing, it's not for others. It's for you. If a byproduct of your healing is that it helps or inspires others, then that's excellent. But it is for you. If you try to heal yourself for someone else, it's not the right reasons and is often a temporary process. Heal yourself for yourself. It gets better. Thank you for listening. This is James Riggs.